Coyote Pass was supposed to be the Browns' big family dream, a place where they could all build homes and live together.
But now that the family has fallen apart, that dream is completely shattered. And the big question is, what happens to the land now?
Kody says he wants to sell it, but will he actually be fair in splitting it with his ex-wives? Or is this just another way for him to hold on to control?
It's not just about the money either. It's about whether Kody can own up to his promises and treat everyone equally. Or is this just going to turn into another fight?
We've seen a lot of drama with Coyote Pass over the years, but this might be the most defining moment yet.
So let's dive in and see if Kody's actions finally match his words, or if the Browns' dreamland becomes another source of division. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Sam.
And I'm Melissa.
I was raised in a family with 4 moms and 35 kids. We were members of the FLDS Church, which is a polygamous group run by their prophet Warren Jeffs, who is now serving a life sentence in prison.
I was raised mainstream LDS in Utah. Sam and I have been married for 10 years and have 2 awesome kiddos.
Yes, we do. We want to quickly thank our donors, YouTube members, and our patrons on Patreon, as well as our wonderful subscribers. We have a big goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe.
And we want to remind all of you that we do have a holiday fundraiser going through the end of the year for an awesome organization called Holding Out Help. They help people leaving polygamous communities with resources and tools to take them from isolation to independence.
Yes, a super awesome organization. You can find the donate button below. Thank you so much.
We are back at it today with Sister Wives, episode 12. And man, we know that there is a lot more to cover in this season. I'm guessing it's going to be a very, very long one because there is so much going on. And we know how much further it has to get before the season ends.
Yeah, and this episode was a lot about Coyote Pass and all the drama there. But before we get to that, we have to pick up with where we left off last week.
Which is with Kody crying in Meri's arms as he moves her to Parowan. And we talked about last week how, like, our emotions about it. Like, does Kody even have the right to be crying about the end of an era when he's the one who caused it? But then this episode, they kind of talk a lot about everybody else's feelings on it. They talk about, Meri. She's so confused. I think it made me so sad when she kept talking about, like, it even made her think for a second, did I do the right thing? Like, what is going on? Like, he's so emotional about this.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that Meri had that conflict in her mind for a moment. And even Jan, her friend, tried to snap her out of it really, really quickly. But a lot of people, when they make a big decision, and especially in Meri's case, when she held on to the hope for so many years to finally pull the plug and finally make the decision there, I can see why she would have some, oh boy, maybe I made the wrong choice here, especially when this guy that has been dragging her along for so many years, when push comes to shove, he starts crying about her leaving. I mean, it's just, I am very frustrated. I agree that everyone has the right to feel the emotions they want to feel, but in his case, leave everyone else out of it. Go cry in a corner if you're sad about something, but my gosh, leave Meri alone.
Well, and we're seeing this, we're seeing this on TV. It must have been a pretty drug out emotional goodbye because Meri's friend Jen looks like she's almost in tears at what's being said and done. Nathan is getting emotional about it so much that Kody said Nathan was asking him as they drove away, like, hey, I just want to make sure, like, are you good? Like, is this the decision that you want too? Because Nathan was confused as well.
Right.
He was like, where's this coming from? You've been done with Meri for years. Like, every single person in that room, I have a feeling it went longer than what the camera showed because everyone seemed super confused.
Yeah, and of course Kody says to Nathan, well, you know where I stand. If you don't know where I stand at this point, I don't know what else I can say to make you understand. And we're all thinking, or at least me, I'm thinking, I don't understand. Pick me. I have a question, Kody. I don't think anyone understands what he's trying to do here. It's very confusing.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, obviously it goes back to when he says it's the ending of an era, obviously it is. And I think because she's the first wife, and whether he liked her, loved her, whatever he wants to say about it, she was the beginning of this family. And at this point, I feel like she is the final capstone of it being over. Right. That the whole family's done. Like, it started with her, it's ending with her. Even though everybody saw it coming, it still was just like the finality of it, right? Even Meri's friend Jen talked about, because this is, I think, the first time she's been like interviewed. And Jen was like, yeah, you know, in Vegas, even her as an outsider, you know, just friends that were in the Brown family's life a lot. She's like, you could see that there was favoritism towards Robin.
Right.
When they moved to Flagstaff, she said that caused actual physical separation to the family. And then COVID was the final straw. And I have to agree with Jen. That's what I saw as well. You're like, okay, you can kind of see the progression of it getting continually worse. And Kody recognizes that too, because later in the episode, he, with his brothers, go back to the cul-de-sac.
The cul-de-sac there to reflect on what he considered this perfect time in his life, which is just so interesting to me, because when you listen to the other wives, I mean, look what happened with Meri. She was so lonely that she was looking elsewhere for love.
Yeah.
Look at what Christine will say about Las Vegas. Like, and then we see back in the season these wives trying to get together and make it work, and just the awkwardness of just everything during the time living in Las Vegas. And then to top it off, Kody now admits in this episode that he was trying to hide the fact, even during Las Vegas, he was trying to hide the fact that he only loved Robin way back then.
Yeah.
He was trying to hide it from his other wives. So I'm thinking, Kody, what about this cul-de-sac was so special?
Well, and he did admit too. He said, I don't think I've ever been good at polygamy.
He did.
And he said, I think that the best that I ever was at polygamy, he's like, I was never good at it, but the best that I ever did at it was in the cul-de-sac. And I will say too that they did have, and he mentioned this, that there was a lot of really good memories in the cul-de-sac. So obviously things weren't perfect. It wasn't like he was living a perfect plural life in the cul-de-sac, but they had lots of parties. They had kids' graduations. As far as like as a family and with his children, I think there were a lot of memories there that were good memories as well.
Right. And if you compare the Las Vegas cul-de-sac to what then came with Flagstaff,
it's like
yes,
day and night.
I can see him looking back on that and saying, wow, that was perfect compared to what then came in Flagstaff. But I can only hope and imagine that maybe when they were in Utah, things were better than they were in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
But maybe not. If that was the best time, and there were just, I guess for him, polygamy was just never meant to be.
No, and he says that. And it's interesting watching this. You know, obviously he was the poster child for polygamy. They have this show, Sister Wives, that was started so they could show how wonderful polygamy was and normalize it and make it so people weren't thinking that they were weird, all this stuff, right? So it goes from poster child to polygamy to where now he's telling his brothers, like, polygamy kills emotional intimacy. And that it just sounds like he's just not an advocate for it at all. Right. He's like, he said he didn't want to get married again. That's something that we've seen on tabloids everywhere, right? Like even the fake pictures of whoever he marries, like on the tabloids, like these other wives and stuff, which are totally not true.
Yep.
But he says, he's like, I don't want another wife. I like the idea of being a monogamist and growing old with Robin.
Yep. He says those exact words.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm glad.
What a journey.
I'm glad that he is not trying to make polygamy work if in the end it was never going to, right? At least these women can be free now, right? But even between him and Robin, it seems like they are just not even close to being on the same page with polygamy or anything really. So, I mean, best of luck, I guess.
Well, and I feel like with the cameras, we don't see a lot of him and Robin anymore. Like we don't see those two as a couple. Before the show, I felt like would focus on him and Christine as a couple and him and Meri as a couple and him and Janelle. You would see these snippets, and I don't know if it's just Kody doesn't want their marriage to be exposed. I don't know what it is, but the only time we see Robin now is if it's like in conflict or something with Meri or with other people or going to an event. There's not a lot of insight on their marriage as monogamists.
So maybe they actually do have a good marriage together, and they're just pretending that it's this awful thing for the camera to keep the drama going? Or
what do you mean pretending?
So
it's an awful thing.
So like when the cameras go rolling here, we see that Robin is still struggling and begging for this plural family and still wanting this and wanting that, which is just so crazy to me because it seemed like she wanted Kody for herself from the moment she came into the family. So that's what I mean by, are they just pretending for the cameras that
Yeah.
she still wants this, that, and the other, when in reality, they're perfectly happy just being the two of them when the cameras are not rolling.
Yeah, I think it's pretending. Well, not even just pretending. I think when the cameras are rolling, it's her job to talk about polygamy and to talk about their family as a whole, which is gone. And then when it's not her job and when the camera's not rolling, she's probably just living her normal life, happy as can be, and she has her husband around all the time. Like, really, though, right? Like, it's their job for the show to have the drama of what's going on. They're getting asked specific questions about, how do you feel about what Janelle said? How do you feel about what Meri's doing? How do you feel about this person? And so she's going to comment on all that, and then she's going to go home.
That's true, but when the cameras are rolling, she says negative things about Kody sometimes, that I can't believe he's saying this to the other wife, and I can't believe that he doesn't want to try harder for his family. I can't believe that he's not working to have a good relationship with his other kids. Like, she's saying those things on
That's
camera.
true.
So either she is hopeful that Kody becomes a different person than he currently is, or she's just straight up lying for the cameras to make it seem that she wants this. I don't know, but there's definitely something going on here where Kody seems like, oh, I'm in this perfect monogamous marriage now, but then you see Robin, on the other hand, saying things that seems like that they would be in conflict.
But she's always kind of done that, though. She's always said to the cameras, like, outwardly, she's always been pro polygamy. She only wants polygamous plural marriage. She really cares about having relationships with the other wives, all these things. That's what she's always said. Her talk has always been that direction.
Yeah.
Whether or not
True.
her actions when the cameras are not on live up to those or not. I wonder too, because Kody seems like more and more defensive of the idea that everybody talks about Robin behind her back, that everything is against Robin. What's weird is on the camera, there's rarely anything that they say publicly against Robin. I think last episode, Christine talking about Robin manipulating Meri's emotions was like the most negative thing this season that anybody said about Robin.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Christine and other people have been like, we know that Robin is his love, but now I kind of get it, so it's okay. Like,
Right.
not that it's okay, but now that I have my own love, I understand why Kody feels the way he does about Robin.
Why they wouldn't want to share, right?
But Kody thinks that it's everybody hating on Robin. So either there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that they're dissing on Robin about.
Or it's just not all about Robin. It's more about him. And we see that a little bit in the graduation party for Savannah.
Yeah.
Where Kody actually says those words. He says, the only reason that I'm not invited, he's all with his FOMO here and butthurt about not being invited to a party, Savannah's graduation party.
Yeah.
Even though he hasn't really been a part of her life for a long time, it seems like, according to what we're seeing here. But he says, the only reason that I'm not invited to these things is because they don't want Robin around. And I'm not going to tell Robin she can't come with me. and then
Cut to Janelle.
And she says the exact opposite. She says the exact opposite. That Kody thinks that it's all about Robin, but we don't want him around.
Yeah, Cody's not trying to have relationships with his children. And so why are they going to invite him and make it awkward for everybody?
Right.
When it already is awkward enough. And so I think Kody has this like persecution complex for Robin.
Exactly.
Right? Where everything's against Robin. And maybe that's why Robin goes to an extreme of sounding like she wants the family to be together. I don't know. And maybe that's their PR thing is Cody's like, I'll defend you and you keep defending how much you care about everyone. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, Savannah's party, I mean, it is sad to see that used to be a huge celebration in Las Vegas. How many graduation parties did they have?
Yep.
With flash mobs and friends, and they always made a big deal about these things. And now it's just a lot smaller. Her own dad isn't even there for them. Like, it's very obvious how different the family is now. And it makes me sad for the kids caught in between, because when they said Savannah's graduation party, I was like, I almost forgot that she wasn't an adult yet. And it's crazy because they keep talking about the fact that these adult children, right, like that they're responsible for having a relationship with him. But there are kids like Savannah was still at home. And Truly,
Yep.
He still has 2 kids with his ex-wives that are no longer in Flagstaff that, well, I guess is Janelle in Flagstaff still? It doesn't seem like it. Janelle's everywhere and nowhere. I don't know where her actual home base is at this point.
She still has the place in Flagstaff, and I know that she's trying to get to No.
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yes.
Yes, but either way, it seems like Savannah does not have a relationship with her dad anymore, which is so sad because I feel like her and Truly are getting the brunt of, they're not adults. They're not old enough to just be like, well, Dad, you do your own thing, whatever. I'm an adult now. Like, these are kids who still need their parents and they still need their dad.
Yeah, and you see that too with Isabel, right? That she's having a very hard time with her mom remarrying and finding love with another man because Isabel is afraid that she's going to lose her dad. She's still really young too.
Yeah, even though she's been moved out as an adult, they're still, all kids, no matter their age, still need their dad, right? But some of the ones who are like already married, like Maddie, she has the capability of cutting off her dad over stuff, and she has a husband. She has her own little family. There's more for her to have as support. She already has like this other support system. These other younger kids, it's so, so sad. And the ones that got caught in the crosshairs of this whole thing, and yet Kody is still having a good relationship with all of his and Robin's kids. Makes me really sad.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually wonder, speaking of Savannah and Maddie here, I wonder if part of the reason that Maddie is so against the relationship with her dad at this moment is because of the way that Savannah has been treated by her dad, or the lack of treatment, right?
Yeah,
of him being around. So
older sisters were very protective.
Yeah.
Well, and she's protective of her mom too, because she's wanting to be able to buy land. Maddie is wanting to buy land and with Janelle, and they're wanting to be able to like start this new life. And you could tell how frustrated she was when Janelle was talking about Coyote Pass,
right?
Because Maddie's like, this is being drug out, and you're not being able to like move forward with your life because of this property, because you have to pay off this property, so you can't use your money to start something fresh. Maddie's frustration, was like palpable. And so I think all of those things are leading to probably even more of a distance from her dad, the frustration she's having of how her mom's being treated, probably how her siblings are being treated. And then she's mentioned that he doesn't really try to be a grandpa to her kids either.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, yeah, that would be so, so tough. We have Melissa's parents near us that are always so eager to be a part of our children's lives. And so that would be very tough. I know that my side of the family is complicated, but at least in Kody's situation, he has every opportunity to be a part of these kids' lives, and he's choosing not to. So that would be very, very tough.
Yes, and poor Janelle is just trying to be able to be more independent, the same way that Meri now is getting to be more independent and actually takes a trip to Europe all by herself.
Yes, very exciting to see Meri taking some independence and enjoying life a little bit.
Yes, but before we get into Meri's trip to Europe, have you ever filmed a video and then when you go to edit it, found that you said a million filler words? Because I definitely have. And a program that we use that helps us get rid of those so easily is called Descript.
Descript makes editing so easy it feels like magic. You can upload a video or even start from scratch, and it transcribes everything into text. From there, editing is as simple as editing a Word document.
See? Just highlight, delete, and boom, it's done. And because it is a transcription-based editing software, you can do things like remove all filler words in just the click of 2 buttons. In addition to all the amazing editing tools that Descript has to offer, one of our favorite tools that we use every single time is their AI. They help us draft social media posts, create titles, and one of our favorites is asking for help with our YouTube descriptions. Not only does it give us an amazing description, but it also instantly puts the chapters for our video, which is something we had to use a completely separate software for in the past. Boom, it's that easy.
And whether you're editing professionally or for personal projects, Descript saves you so much time and energy. Professionals can use it for team projects, client videos, or even podcast production.
Or use it personally for everything from family montages to quick social media posts. It's that versatile.
Just click the link in the description and try Descript today. You're going to love it.
Almost as much as Meri loved her Europe trip, which was so fun to see her get to experience these things and go to places that she's always wanted to go to. And even getting to see her somewhere like Europe, where we know it's super expensive to get to, and to go on a trip like that showed to me financial independence.
Right.
Knowing that she could use her money to do what she wanted without being tied to a family that wasn't really serving her at that point.
Right. Yeah, no, it's very nice to see, and to go to a place like Stonehenge where she has talked about her entire married life, she says, sharing this with Kody, that this has been a huge dream of hers to go and see this place in Europe. So exciting. She started crying when she finally made it to this place. It was just such a special thing for her to be able to accomplish that for herself. But to then see her after her trip, go over to Kody and Robin's house to discuss Coyote Pass and the paying that off.
It was so much confidence she had.
And so, yes, and we love seeing that. But it was very sad to see that Kody did not even remember during those 25 years of marriage.
33
years of marriage. Why did I think 25?
I think that's Christine.
Okay. 33 years of marriage, yes. That she has been mentioning her desire to see Stonehenge. He had no idea. His response was, "Oh, you went to Stonehenge? That's interesting. Isn't there a lot more fun things to do in Europe?"
Oh my gosh. And then the fact that his reaction when brought up like, wow, I've only been talking about this like my entire life and it's a lifelong dream. And he's like, well, I'm a guy. So I only really care about things that interest me, not things that interest other people.
Kody's making all of us guys look pretty bad here, saying that it's a guy because the only thing that really matters to him is what is important to him. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you were married to her. So what's important to her should also be important to you, sir. Right? It just is so, wow.
I guarantee he knows where Robin would go on a trip right now if she could.
Man, at this point, I hope. Yeah. I hope that he can get one of the marriages right. I don't know. It's very, very sad. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's sad on one hand. The amount of confidence that Meri had going into this meeting of just getting to be herself. She was making jokes that both Robin and Kody did not think were funny. I thought they were great. Just showing that she doesn't have to care. And she said that at one point. She's like, well, that's not a decision for me to make.
She's like, why should I care about that? And
I don't need to make that decision anymore.
She just is so free to just say what she wants to say now. I love it.
Yes. And so it's sad to see that Kody didn't care. And at the same time, she's probably sitting there thinking, thank goodness I got out of this, that I don't have to deal with this anymore. I don't have to be upset that he didn't remember. I mean, it's still upsetting, but like she doesn't have to take it personally anymore because she's like, you know what? It's fine because I'm not married to you and I don't have to deal or care about what you think.
Right.
The way she talked about freedom, where she was like, it's not that I felt trapped before, but the amount of freedom that she held afterward, I think is really similar to like leaving the FLDS or leaving anything that's so all-consuming. Obviously, her in a plural marriage, all-consuming, right? Leaving the FLDS, all-consuming. When you leave and you didn't even feel necessarily trapped, but then afterward, you're like, wow, the amount of freedom that I feel. Yeah,
that's definitely a good way to put it because I felt trapped in the sense that I knew that if I left, I wouldn't be welcome back. And Meri might feel some of that too. That once I leave, I'm not going to be able to go back and maybe be a part of some of these lives. But once I was out, it was very sad to not have my family. But at the same time, I knew almost immediately that I had made the right choice for my future life.
Yeah. Watching this meeting as well, Meri, is giving her money for Coyote Pass to be all paid off, and Janelle had sent her money. And it's also interesting to see Meri's confidence before when she had this conversation with Janelle, and Janelle said, you might need to get a lawyer. Like, I just want to kind of warn you, things might kind of go south. And then Meri being the one to stand up and say, I want an appraisal of the land, which you could tell Kody was not about. Robin's like, oh, it makes sense. And Cody's just thinking, this is more work that I have to do. And he hasn't wanted to put any work or effort into making this fair. It's been Janelle's like, I'll just take what I can get. If I don't have to deal with the lawyers of it, that would be amazing. Just give me my 4 acres. Let me move on with my life. And for the first time, Meri's normally the one who just goes along because she's always trying to prove that she's worthy of Kody's love, right?
Trying to win him back, yep.
Yeah, and so this time she's like, no, I think we need an appraiser. Like, why are we guessing at all? So I was super proud of her for that.
Kody's visibly frustrated by it, which is very telling. I mean, it's also very telling when you look at how he divided, because he made the decision. Robin even says she had nothing to do with it. She just found out, like the other wives, that Kody went and divided these properties up, putting people's names on them as he pleased, which of course he put his name on every single one of them.
Yeah.
And then some of these, like Meri, barely even owns anything, right? It's just such a small piece because he put his and Robin's name on her piece of land.
Meri's or Robin's on like 3 different parcels or something. The way that they had split it up, that was all just temporary. and Robin has nothing to do with it, but Robin's name's on a whole bunch. And here's the thing. When you love someone and you're in a happy marriage, Kody and Robin, right? There's no way that Kody's going to make huge decisions without consulting his love. That's not how most people that are in love operate. So the idea that somehow Robin's completely out of this and had nothing to do with it, I just don't buy it. But aside from that, these lines that he had created to begin with are kind of arbitrary. There's no real, I don't know if they had separated them and done separate deeds. It sounds like they had, because Meri talks about the fact that, Kody obviously has the monopoly on it. I don't know how legally binding that is. When Kody mentions just selling the whole thing and splitting it 4 ways, that sounds like the most fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then Robin and Kody are obviously not on the same page.
No.
Because Robin does not want to sell.
One of those things, once again, where I'm thinking, come on, Robin. You actually expect Janelle and Meri to build a house right next to you and Kody?
When she said she wanted that, I was like, come on. Can you stop it? Just stop it.
Why? How would Robin feel moving into a house next door to her ex, right? Think about this for a minute here. These are women that have moved out of Kody's lives because they don't want to be married to him anymore. They don't want him in their lives anymore.
And they don't want to be neighbors with him either. Why would they want that?
Right. No one's going to want that. So the fact that she's still holding on to that is just
delusional.
Yes, that's a good word. But anyway, so they're having this conflict, I guess you can say, of Janelle over here having a difficult time trusting that Kody's going to do the right thing. Meri starting to feel slightly concerned because Janelle shared with Meri that you may or may not want to consider a lawyer. And I'm thinking, okay, and Meri shares this with Kody.
Yeah, and says that Janelle came and let me know. So
that is interesting that Meri shared that. And my first thought was maybe she shared it because she wanted to kind of put it out there as, Kody, is there something I need to be concerned about here, right? If another wife is coming to me and saying that she's concerned, do I need to be concerned?
Yeah, maybe giving him a little backhanded warning of we're prepared to get lawyers. We don't have to do that, right, Kody? We don't need to go get lawyers.
Right.
Everything should be fine. I told her I thought it'd be fine. It's going to be okay, right? But the fact that he says that he thinks Janelle would screw him over if she could. And so because of that, he's thought of many ways that he could screw her over when it comes to the land. I'm not going to do it, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that I've thought about it before. And I'm like, no wonder Janelle's concerned. He hasn't been honest with her. He won't communicate with her. She just wants to get the deal done. Janelle has always been businesswoman first, right? She just wants to get the job done. And he is dragging his feet, not communicating, and then talking about how he's thought of screwing her over because he thinks that's what she would do. It's just a whole mess, and it's so not over yet.
Right. I'll bet you Christine is rejoicing to the heavens that she sold her house, kept a profit, and washed her hands clean of Coyote Pass forever because, man, at this point, these other women are probably thinking, I wish that I could just walk away, but they have a lot of stake in here, and they will be out a lot of money if they don't try their best to get their portion of this land.
Well, and it's sad that this shows that Christine being more independent and saying, I want to buy this house and just making it happen ended up being she's much better off than the other women. Those who believed in this Coyote Pass dream to begin with and bought into it and were on the same page with Kody and we're all in, like Janelle. Janelle was freaking living in a trailer on the land because she wanted to build on the land so badly. Then she's in a small apartment. This whole time, Christine had a nice big house. Meri's house, compared to what Janelle's been living in with the amount of kids Janelle had. The other women were like, hey, we're still going to take care of ourselves here first and then try to make this land happen. Janelle the whole time has been 100% in, and she's already screwed over.
Right. Well, and the reason...
So frustrating.
Well, and the way I see this is Janelle was living in the trailer. Well, partly because she's adventurous. She likes an adventure, so she's willing to do something like that. But if I remember correctly on those episodes where she was living in the trailer, she kept saying over and over again that she was doing something like that. She was making a sacrifice in order to save money in order to build on
Coyote Pass.
So she made all of these sacrifices, and now what? Nothing came of it. Nothing came of it. And she was staying in small apartments, all of these things. And
now she's stuck not being able to move on with her life because of it. So I'm very intrigued what's going to happen with this. If Kody does get the appraisal like Meri wants, which is completely fair, how much longer that's going to drag it out, which might not be what Janelle wants, but ultimately, hopefully, will be more fair. And then is Kody going to make it so that they have to get lawyers?
Yeah. So that is the question of the week is Kody going to play nice? Is he going to be fair? Or are all of the women going to have to lawyer up?
Yep. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Yes. Thank you all so much for being here with us again. And we look forward to talking with you soon.
Talk to y'all soon.